Let's first start with the pay package or whatever you want to call it for Neumann. What is he getting out of this deal?
SoftBank is essentially paying Neumann to step aside. Some reports saying he will still own a stake in the company, but it could go down to about 10%. They're going to pay Neumann a consulting fee, essentially for the work he's already put into the company.
Okay.
This is a good outcome for Neumann. He holds on to billionaire status, but it's also a good governance outcome for SoftBank, which will now be in control of the company without his influence.
Is Neumann being treated differently to others? There are others that have a stake in this business. He appears to be getting a much better deal. How is that going to play out long term? Is there a legal risk here? What does this say about how SoftBank is approaching this?
SoftBank wants this all to go away, all this noise around the company's future. So by implementing their own strategy and their own leadership, they're trying to open a new chapter for WeWork. We've reported that Marcelo Claure, the former Sprint CEO, who's very senior in SoftBank, is likely to take a big role as chairman at WeWork. So he will have a role overseeing the company, and there may be in talks to search for new CEOs. Right now, the company is run by two co-CEOs who had been at the company during Neumann's era.
So, but does this sort of shift in ownership and shift in leadership, does this really sort of address some of the more financial issues? The idea that they were essentially, taking on these properties and the money they were getting in return really wasn't covering that expense.
It's very unclear how SoftBank will recoup a profit here and what the future holds. But what we know is that SoftBank will now have an iron grip on the company.
Right.
They'll likely control the board, control any major move the company does. So it's in their hands now, which is what they wanted from the beginning because they already had so much exposure. They had invested $10 billion, and now as part of this new deal, they could be investing up to $8 billion in debt and equity and buying out shareholders.